let us do Trout's video. This was from a couple weeks ago. I'm a little late to it. I meant to jump to it before, but I'm a little late to it. Let us jump into Trout talking about smart homes. Let's go.
Imagine this. You stumble into the kitchen at 2 a.m. and the entire place is glowing. It's not ghosts, it's not an alien abduction, and it's not because you left the lights on. It's the little red dots, the blue glows, the eerie standby lights coming from every device in your house that's supposedly off. Your TV,
Yeah.
your PlayStation, your Wi-Fi router, even your toaster that for some reason requires a Wi-Fi connection. Welcome to the world of energy vampires. These are the silent killers of your power bill, silently sucking energy while pretending to be off. Then here's the kick.
Yeah. Oh, God, is that where he's going with this? Yeah, this is kind of known. Like, every time a device is supposed to be off, it's like, it's in standby, which means it has to maintain power to its sensors for when to activate. So, how much power are these things drawing when they're in standby mode? I'm wondering if that's where he's going with that. Is that the power draw in standby mode is far higher than you're led to believe.
The very devices being sold to us as being eco-friendly are sometimes the biggest offenders. Today, we're going deep into the...
But by the way, how's the volume for you guys? I know he's sounding quiet on this one. Is the volume okay for you guys? Are you able to hear? Are you able to hear him okay? Because I know it was sounding quiet on my end. You're okay? All right, just want to make sure.
History of wasted electricity, how green tech became a corporate con, and how your Wi-Fi router may be using the same amount of electricity as a mini fridge. I'm King Trout, and as a man who believes the internet is one of the primary factors in the downfall of modern society, YouTuber sure was an ironic career choice. What is an energy vampire? Well, not only does it refer to the guy in the office who just saps the life out of everybody he's in the room with, it also refers to devices that still continue to draw power even though you believe...
Thor, I'm not entirely sure that he's referring to a standard router. Although we're going to find out. Maybe it will be. I suspect maybe he's talking about one of these like smart routers that is part of like the whole smart networking system. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe modern routers, they have cranked up the wattage requirements for them in modern time.
It also refers to devices that still continue to draw power even though you believe they're turned off. The technical term for this is standby power, or phantom load. I am not going to make a joke about ghosts coming because that would be inappropriate, and I recently found out at a family gathering that my grandma watches these videos. Hi, Grandma! Examples would include a TV waiting for a signal from your remote, a gaming console left in rest mode, a laptop charger plugged in when it's not actively charging your laptop, or smart speakers constantly listening, waiting for you to give them the signal.
Yep.
Alexa, order 400 bottles of KY lubricant. Individually, does...
How many is your Alexas just triggered off that, if you have any? I must know right now. No, Revan, I don't have any Alexas in my home. I don't have any of those. But I must know how many of you guys just add your Alexa trigger from that. And thank you, Sherman. Thank you very much. Okay, you don't have any of those either. Fair enough.
Doesn't seem like it'd be a very big deal. We're talking about tiny amounts of wattage here. But when you multiply it across all of these devices, across every home, office, and dorm, across the planet, it adds up to billions of kilowatt hours every year. How big is this problem? Well, the U.S. Department of Energy says that 5 to 10% of all energy in the United States annually is lost to the...
GBP, I didn't even get to say my catchphrase. Fine, I'll have to do it posthumously. Mods! Yeet that bitch! Which you already did. Damn it, I didn't get to say my catchphrase. GBP, we're gonna have to have a talk.
These phantom loads.
Oh my
That's
god.
essentially an entire month of your annual power bill that's just gone to nothing. Globally, this standby power eats up hundreds of terawatt hours annually. It's
Damn.
equivalent to some small nations. Basically, if sleeping PlayStations were a country, their energy usage would rival that of Switzerland. The most
Just for PlayStations? Oh, fuck. That's a lot. That's a lot. So he was saying if all the combined wattage for PlayStations in rest mode equals the power usage of Switzerland. But I mean, Xanax, he was just using PlayStations as one singular example. If you have any gaming console, that's what this does. Like every gaming console, if you basically put it into quote unquote power off mode, it's not actually powered off. It's in basically an advanced state of rest because it's still waiting for the signal input from your remote when you hit the central button on it to fire back up again. So PlayStation does it, Xbox does it, the Wii U does it, or not the Wii U. The Switch might do it. So it's like all of these devices, like literally, like when you power them off, it's not powered off. It's literally just like a rest or standby mode.
infamous offender is cable TV boxes. While they're made a little bit differently now, for years, the energy consumption of a cable box, even when it was believed to be turned off, could rival that of a refrigerator. Why did they stay this way for so long? Why didn't cable companies make them more energy efficient? Because they don't give a shit. They don't pay your power bill.
Exactly.
Why do they care? It almost makes me sick. And if I was sick, I wouldn't know where to begin to look for a doctor. This video is sponsored by ZocDoc. See that gray hair right there? Despite my youthful disposition, I'm no longer the spring chicken I once was. And I've gotten to the point in my life
Hendrix,
where I
me
take
too.
medical
I have
issues
not had
seriously.
cable
But with a
TV
family history
for
like mine, I tend to get a little bit
years.
paranoid. Just a
I have
couple weeks ago,
I have no
I had a
cable
weird
service and I have
problem
no
where one of
streaming
my lymph
service.
nodes was more
I
swollen
I
than the
have
other
not
one,
used either of
and it sent
those
me on
for a
doom-scrolling
very
spiral until 2
long
o'clock in
time.
the morning on
Because
WebMD.
realistically, there's
Essentially,
nothing
I
good to
had
watch,
convinced
so
myself I
why
had a
spend
few
money to
weeks
have them
live.
in the first place?
Instead of letting my paranoid imagination run wild, I could have booked a doctor, even in the middle of the night. And that's exactly what the sponsor of today's video lets you do. ZocDoc. They make the whole process stupidly easy. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare in-network doctors, see real patient reviews, and actually check their appointment openings in real time. Just pick the doctor that feels right for you and boom, you're booked. No phone tag, no hold music, and no guessing whether or not they'll take your insurance. And the best part is, these aren't months-out appointments. ZocDoc lets you snag appointments in as little as 24 to 72 hours.
I'm just grooving to the cool background music of this ad.
Even that same day. Don't let your brain go down that 2 a.m. WebMD rabbit hole where you've convinced yourself it's time to start drafting your will. Just go to ZocDoc.com/KingTrout and instantly book your appointment with an in-network doctor today. And thank you to ZocDoc for sponsoring the video. When electricity first began to light up homes in the early 1900s, there was no such thing as standby power. Devices had hard switches. Off was off.
Gramps, talk to Rygat. Gramps, in the Discord, just send a message to Rygat. Rygat has the movie list for movie nights, so just talk to him in Discord. He'll add it to the list.
Through the 1950s and 60s, utility companies pushed for the so-called all-electric home. Electric ovens, electric heat, hell, even electric toothbrushes. The point was not efficiency, it was consumption. The more money people spent on their electric bill, the more money these utility companies would make. By the 1970s energy crisis, people started paying more attention to this waste. But at the same time, while electronics were advancing, manufacturers started implementing this always-on circuitry. Televisions with instant-on features, VCRs, which had to have clocks on them for some reason. Devices
that always blinked 12, right? How many of you had VCRs that were always in a perpetual state of blinking 12? Be honest. Be honest. Come on. Eh? Honesty time, chat. How many of you always had it blinking 12? Oh, I think some of you are liars. I think some of you might be fibbing.
Is that were never truly turned off. By the 2000s, the problem had ballooned. The International Energy Agency warned that phantom loads were taking up nearly 10% of all global energy consumption. Here's where it gets ironic. The last 20 years have been sold to us as a transition to green technology. Energy Star labels, smart thermostats, smart homes. Supposedly, we're saving the planet. But the irony is that
okay, I do want to slightly disagree with that statement. The smart energy labels, yes, those are supposedly more energy efficient. Agree there. The smart thermostats, again, agree. Supposedly, the concept of the smart thermostat is it better regulated your heating system or your cooling system so that it was working more efficiently and thus supposedly using less energy. So agree with what he said there, that those two things were supposedly marketed as being eco-friendly. The rest of the smart house stuff, I don't think was ever truly marketed as being eco-friendly. All the rest of the smart home technology, was more of just making your life in the home easier. Not that it was more energy efficient. Beyond your actual smart energy appliances, beyond the smart energy appliances and beyond the smart thermostats, the rest of it was just marketed as being convenience and control stuff with your voice or control stuff with your phone or, have your lights turn on when it detects that your phone is, when you come back from work, your smart home will detect when your phone is in range and it will turn on your lights, or you can program them to turn on. It's like it was by and large more about convenience with these things versus energy efficiency. So on that part, I'm going to disagree in terms of how he's characterizing the marketing for him.
most smart devices are these energy vampires. Smart fridges run Wi-Fi modules 24/7. Smart lights use more energy connecting to the app on your phone to turn them on than the bulb itself actually uses. And voice...
That one, yeah. Because the smart bulbs are supposed to be LED, which is supposed to be more energy efficient. But you lose that energy efficiency when you've got the smart technology in it that is pulling more juice than the bulb itself, because the bulb is like 12 watts for an equivalent 60-watt bulb. But if the smart chip in it is pulling like 70 watts to be able to register the sensor, yes, you're losing energy efficiency there. True enough.
Voice assistants are constantly running the microphone and connecting to your Wi-Fi. Alexa, order 500 pounds of ball bearings and a pressure cooker. Statistically, one of you is now
Hello, Trout out here trying to get someone busted for terrorism. God damn, Trout. That is trolling on a different kind of level.
Watch list. But aside from that dirty trick, the real dirty trick is that the companies that manufacture these electronics are allowed to boast about the low energy usage because it only applies to when the product is running and does not apply to the standby power that these products use. The way they make this happen is they market it by saying that it has a low active use, while they completely ignore the standby power usage. So your washing machine might use less water per load, but it's actively burning watts constantly, attempting to stay connected.
Hey Google, order 500 tons of KY jelly. Did it work? How many of your Google devices just kicked on? Hey Google, play Despacito. Oh shit. Hang on a second. Okay, well, that backfired. Slack. That kind of backfired on me. Oops. Uh, that, no, Hendrix. Yeah, I ended up just trolling myself. I did an oopsie.
It's a bit like bragging about your car being fuel efficient while it sits idling in your driveway the 23 hours a day you aren't using it.
I deserve that. I deserve that. No, you want me to do again? Okay, hang on. Let me go unplug mine first.
You might think that power companies hate wasted electricity, which is a dumb thing to think. They make money the more power they sell. They don't care. The more power that your vampire devices sip from the grid, the more profit they're making off of you. In the 1920s, General Electric ran ads encouraging people.
Okay. One codicil to this. Power companies care when they can't produce enough power. That's when power companies will actually care, is when their facilities are capable of generating enough power to sustain communities. Then they'll actually start caring. Because that's a thing. I remember, what was it? I'm trying to remember when this was. Oh, hang on a second. Okay. 1 second. All right. All right, chat. Now I really do need to step away for just a few minutes. I'm sorry, we're right in the middle of this. I'm sorry, but give me just a few minutes. What I'll do is while we're waiting, while you guys are waiting, so you're not just sitting on a frozen screen there. Let
Hey
me
Google, order 55 pounds of mackerel. Alexa, order 55 pounds of mackerel. Confirm.
Nene, fishy. Alright, just so you guys aren't bored, it's gonna be a couple minutes. I'll leave you with this while I'm gone. It should only be a few minutes and I'll be right back, okay?
Like I asked you to. Hey!
No. Hey, no. Look at her mouth. What are you doing? I'm sorry, you're just too cute, Benny. Hey.
Dexter's. Who's ready to eat dinner? Come on, babies, let's eat dinner.
We've just found this 5-week kitten and we've introduced it to Storm, and Storm is now taking it in.
We got our 5 dogs here this morning, and they're waiting to be called out. Murphy, Abby, Nikita, good girl, come on Nikita, Wesley, Luna, Wesley, come on Wesley, good boy.
Are you ready? Look at me. Cassian. Go back over there.
Beta guys, do you love this bath or what? Will you guys stop jumping on him, please? Come on over there, let's rinse you off.
So I'm having lunch and I have a visitor. He's so cute. It's like lunch and a show.
Okay, I am back. I'm back. Sorry about that. I did say there was a good chance did tell you it was gonna have to happen. Alright, let us waste no time. Let us jump back into this and continue with the energy vampires. Yes, everyone's fine, Gramps.
In the 1920s, General Electric ran ads encouraging people to leave their lights on 24/7 for safety. And in the 1950s, electric companies encouraged people to heat their entire homes using electric heaters, despite the fact that gas was both more efficient and cheaper. Nowadays, they don't even have to market it. They just let you leave your Wi-Fi router running all night and put your TV in sleep mode. Then they cash the check. When it comes to limiting the amount of standby power used by these devices, this is where it gets a little bit fucky. So in the EU and in Japan, legislation has been put in place to limit the amount of standby power that these devices use. The EU passed regulations in 2010 limiting the amount of standby power that a device can use to 1 watt. Japan has set similar standards. In the US, it's more of a patchwork. There's no nationwide law. Now, Energy Star does have a standard set, but it's more of a voluntary guideline. These manufacturers don't have to follow it.
Oh, and so this is another thing that the EU put into law to force the manufacturing industry to basically do right by the consumer. Because leave us not forget, it was the EU that forced Apple to change their charging ports from a Lightning port to a USB-C port. It seems like, for all the problems that they've had, the EU has been on the front lines for basically going after corporations for the benefit of the consumer over the US.
Why is this the case? Well, as always in American governance, lobbying. The manufacturers have lobbied heavily against any standard being set as a law. They argue that it's too expensive to change the design of these appliances to limit the amount of energy that they use. Too expensive for them, obviously. They'll just pass the cost on down to you. I'm not saying that necessarily this is something that should be legislated. I have very complicated opinions about that, which we'll get to later. What these companies do, however, is they kick the blame down the road onto you, the consumer.
Of course.
Unplug your charger when you're not using it. Buy our smart power strip. It's your fault that your devices are using so much energy, not ours.
My God, really?
It's the same psychology that they use.
I haven't heard about these smart power strips. This is new one for me. Is there such a thing as a smart power strip that basically, like, instead of having multiple smart devices, you just have one smart power strip and it will function as like the smart thing for all the devices? How? Okay, that's one I hadn't heard of before. I've heard of smart outlets. I've heard of smart plugs. That one I've heard about, not full-on power strips. Really? UPS systems have had that? Really? Okay.
Devices are using so much energy, not ours. It's the same psychology that they use when it comes to recycling. Blame the consumer, not the industry. Make individuals feel guilty while the industry continues to pump out wasteful products. Why wouldn't they? They're making money off of it. Regulators are continuing to let it slide. Utility companies are making buku bucks off of the wastefulness. And manufacturers can continue to pump out air fryers that for some reason have to connect to your Wi-Fi so they can steal your data. The entire impetus of this video is because I was at dinner with my wife the other night and her phone kept going off because she was getting text messages from our vacuum cleaner.
Honestly, I'm a little surprised that he didn't go into deeper, do a deeper dive onto the data portion of it. But I guess that's probably a fucking rabbit hole that would take longer than his typical video length to dig into.
Our vacuum cleaner was texting my wife during dinner, telling her that couldn't connect to the Wi-Fi. It's a vacuum cleaner! Let's call out some of the worst offenders. Cable and satellite TV boxes are infamous for wasting huge amounts of energy even when they're supposedly turned off. Game consoles, especially the PlayStation and Xbox when in their rest modes, quietly guzzle electricity. Smart TVs are constantly pinging servers, sometimes even tracking your data, and routers and modems are always on with no option to reduce their power, even at night when they're in low usage. Chargers still pull power when idle, though newer ones are not nearly as bad as older ones were, but still do draw power when nothing's plugged into them. And then there's the so-called Internet of Things. Every new smart device, doorbells, security cameras, even electric toothbrushes, any device that has you connect to your Wi-Fi is constantly drawing power. 1,000 little straws sucking at the electric grid.
Unless, in the case of the doorbell, unless you get a battery doorbell. If you don't get one of the wired-in doorbells and you get the wireless ones that works off of internal battery power, that's not continually guzzling. And same thing with cameras. Like there are full battery-powered smart doorbells and smart cameras that are completely wireless. They are not wired into power. They have an internal battery, and it's just every once in a while you have like I think it's rated so that depending upon usage, depending on how often they get triggered, I think you have to recharge them every 4 to 7 months, depending upon the usage. And yes, No Shadow, I link all the videos at the conclusion of them. Don't worry. So, well, the router's already using electricity, Arnami. Your router's not going to be using any more electricity depending on the amount of devices that are connected to it. It's still using the same amount of electricity if you have one device connected to it or 10 devices connected to it. It's the same. The router's going to be pulling the same amount of power. But in the terms of the wireless, in the terms of the smart doorbells and smart cameras, if you get the battery ones instead of the wired-in ones, then those devices will not be drawing from the grid. It's only when you have to, every couple months, you basically plug them in for a few hours, recharge them, then you stick them back out. They're good for another few months. It can make the CPU run more. by a small margin. But Arnani, I would say that because, again, it's whether you have a wired or wireless smart doorbell or camera, the CPU on the router is going to run more regardless. Okay, but go with me on this one. So regardless of the type of smart doorbell or smart cameras, the CPU in the router is going to run more regardless because it's pinging the Wi-Fi. But if you have the truly wireless doorbells or cameras that run off of battery power, you're only doing the ping of the Wi-Fi. The devices themselves are not constantly drawing power from your home's electrical because they're just drawing them from your battery power. And so then every couple of months you can bring them in, you can hook them up to USB-C, charge it for a couple hours, put it back out there, and then they're good for another few months. So, what did the Automa? Oh, I know what the Automa did, Gramps. I know exactly what it did. It's because you put in an IP address, Gramps. That's why the Automod deleted it. It's because you put in an IP address. That's why. It's a protective measure. Gramps, I'd say don't put IP addresses in. But yeah, the Automod grab. That's why it deleted is because you threw in an IP address. So yeah. So that's my thing about with the smart doorbells and smart cameras is you won't have the power draw that Trout is talking about if you were to go with the battery powered ones, as opposed to the wired in ones.
Tech companies love to talk about the green smart home of the future. But what's really coming is a home full of devices that are always on, always connected, constantly drawing power, collecting your data. Self-driving cars, idle while in their standby modes. Smart appliances are constantly pinging the internet and updating themselves, and AI assistants are always listening. Alexa, search populated areas near me. We're quickly headed towards a world where your home is a nest for these vampires.
It was
Always
good,
on,
Silver.
Always listening. And you're there to foot the bill. What can you do? Well, let's get practical. Steaks and garlic won't kill these vampires. Terrible joke. Buy power strips and actually use them. Unplug devices when you aren't actively using them. Don't put a fucking Alexa in your house. Why would you actively choose to put a microphone that's listening to everything you say in your house? I do not understand why people do that. It blows my mind. Some will argue that political action needs to be taken like they've done in the EU or in Japan. I don't necessarily believe that it is the responsibility of the government to regulate things like that. I think it falls back onto you, the consumer. Don't buy these products.
Talk with your wallet.
If we actively choose to stop buying these smart products that we're just selling our data to these corporations by purchasing, they could stop making them. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe we should petition the government to make it illegal for a corporation to gather personal data about you. That's a thought.
Yeah.
Listen.
That would be nice.
All I'm saying is, if you read what Uncle Ted had to say about this situation coming to fruition, he was kind of bang on. Dear government agent watching this video, that joke is what is called satire. Obviously, I did not mean that to be the genuine truth. It's humorous because it is so horribly, horribly wrong for someone to believe those things to be the truth. That's where the humor derives from. Just wanted to clarify that. Listen, at the end of the day, the energy vampire problem just shows that modern technology...
Yes, Revan, you are very correct on that. Is even if people try and vote with their wallets and not purchase the smart devices, the companies are just the companies are just going to phase out the dumb devices and only make the smart devices available to the consumer. And the only way you're going to be able to purchase a device is if it's a smart device. And that way they will force you to buy a smart device, and you will have no choice, because if you don't purchase it, then this very basic thing that you want to have, that you need for your home, like a fucking light bulb, will have to be a smart device, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how they'll do it. And thank you for the dono, Jewish Nuxanor.
Is less about a greater ecological impact and more about making you feel as though you're doing something good. You bought that new smart refrigerator and saving energy, while simultaneously it live streams your milk to the cloud 24/7. We're told that we're making progress, while billions of devices draw enough energy to literally power an entire nation. It's not your fault. It's not even your Xbox's fault. The real vampire is the system, man. No, but seriously, it's these evil corporations who actively know.
It's always the evil corporations.
So they don't give a shit. And they're selling it under the guise of you making a positive impact on the planet, which you're not doing, even though that is your intention. You're being lied to. It's all just a ruse. And also, in the meantime, they're using it as an excuse to collect all of your personal data so that they can sell it for more profit.
Yep.
And you're inviting them into your home, much like vampires in the mythology.
Is it?
Rub garlic on your Wi-Fi router. Maybe that'll solve the problem. Just remember, the next time you see that glowing red light out of the corner of your eye in the middle of the night, it's not harmless. It's a vampire, a monster hidden in plain sight, bleeding your wallet dry, sucking down coal in power plants, and laughing all the way to the bank. If we really want a green future, maybe the first step isn't paper straws. Maybe it's plunging a stake deep into the heart of this secret vampire economy hidden in plain sight.
Somebody call Neo Van Helsing. If anyone can take care of our energy vampire problem, it is he.
God, I wrote all these vampire references, and as I'm reading them aloud, it's making me sick to my stomach. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe there's nothing we can do. The world is hopeless. The world is a vampire, and despite all my rage, I'm just a rat in a cage. Whatever. Anyway, I've been King
House
Trout.
Magic
As
Pumpkins
always,
joke.
I'll see you when I see you. Love you. Bye.
Well, chat, how many of you are running to unplug your smart devices right now? Maybe if you whisper sweet nothings to them and just tell them that you're a good little smart device, aren't you? You're gonna be a good little smart device, won't you? Won't you? They'll behave.